What's up, guys? This is Dylan.
And I'm Quinn.
And we are back for another episode talking about WandaVision. Please like, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you know when we have new videos coming out, because we will be talking about new topics, new subjects, new things in WandaVision, and other things coming up. So be sure to tune in and keep track of what we got. Oh yeah, don't forget to check out the website, www.broken.pictures.com.
Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your spoiler alert. In this video, we're going to be talking about the big reveal from episode 7 of WandaVision. So if you haven't watched up to that point yet, stop this video. Well, don't stop it. Pause it. Go watch WandaVision unless you like to be spoiled. You have been warned.
There are a couple things we want to talk about along with the big reveal that it's like the worst kept secret. Everybody knew that she was Agatha Harkness. But I mean, but there are other elements that come into play now that we have that confirmed. Who is she working with? Is she the only big bad? Yes or no? We've got ideas. And what is that book?
Cool.
All right, so who is Agatha Harkness?
Agatha? Who is it? Like overall, who is she?
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of talked about it before in other ones, but just can you give a quick sum up?
Yeah. In short, she's a witch from the Marvel Universe who also becomes the leader of New Salem. As you also said in the past video, she is also a babysitter for the Marvel Universe. But in some of the older comics where she shows up in, she's really just kind of I can't say that word. She
kind of plays both sides. She's self-involved, like Darcy.
She's self-involved is a good way to say it. But yeah, she looks out for numero uno more than anything else, though. But yes, and she's kind of proving so far, like the 55 2 minutes we saw her actually after she revealed herself, pretty true to her character, comic-wise. A little younger, but that's okay.
Especially the one that this is kind of based on, where she gaslights Wanda.
Yes. yes. Which, speaking of her gaslighting Wanda, how do you think she's doing it?
So in the comic, outside of Agatha's house, she's got a plant called the Wondergore Everbloom, and it is it's this flower that if you eat it, it can it kind of shows you the future, or kind of get her, kind of controls you, kind of, maybe, I don't know. It influences your mental state. So, and after Sparky died in the comics, it wasn't Agatha that killed him in the comics, even though it was obviously her this time. So there are a lot of implications, or not implications, but there are a lot of Easter eggs and teasers that this is what's going on. The first plant, or the first thing that she brought, there are the housewarming plant with the big purple bow on it. There's the perfume that she sprays on the twins. There's in her house, there's purple flowers. There's a stained glass up to her left on the right of the screen. Billy, one of the twins, is feeding Senor Scratchy leaves. There's purple flowers right in front of her, purple flowers in front of her house, all around her house. Even on the walls, instead of like the set deck team painting just the wall a regular color, like it has ivy and plants and stuff painted into it.
Yeah.
So there's like super hardcore relevance there. And not to mention all the vines with the purple glow. So, I mean, I think they're really tying that in. And like, plus one of the first things in this episode she does when Wanda comes over is start brewing her tea. So it could be very possible that she is using this to kind of control Wanda as well. Because
Yes.
I don't think that she is powerful enough to control Wanda. I don't think she's more powerful than Wanda. She's got to use all these relics and all these other things. Uh, but at the same time, Wanda doesn't know how powerful she is. So that's one way she's able to kind of keep on top of Wanda, as well as kind of make her feel guilty and make her feel bad and all these things. So she isn't really concentrating, and kind of, she takes her
She's
down
not
a
the
notch a lot.
not at the top
Like,
of her game.
yeah, like the interviewer, that was, I don't know if you guys caught it. That was actually Agatha, her voice asking her if she thought that this is what you deserve. That was just Catherine Hahn's voice at a lower register, and I think it was New Rock Stars that actually went in and adjusted the voice, and it is Catherine Hahn. There's no mistaking it.
Yeah. Whew. Which this if y'all haven't caught on to it yet, Agatha Harkness was kind of the big reveal, and it is it was like out there, paint sky written in the sky, literally painted on the walls.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it lets us know what kind of direction they're heading in. They're heading in a really extra magic-y direction, extra weird
for sure.
direction.
Yeah, I mean, there was a big confirmation for those of us who kind of knew that was going to happen. Like I said, it was a worst kept secret. But at the same time, she takes credit for a lot of things that I mean, personally, I don't think it was, I think it was Agatha all along, like meddling, but I don't think she is the only big bad. Like a lot of people were saying, oh, well, she is, it was Dust. I don't think that she is the only big bad. That I think she's working with and working for potentially someone else. So we can kind of get into that. Who else could she be working with first? And that gets into another area that kind of we'll get into more later. One of the characters, like who Pietro could be. We'll get into that later. But that obviously she's working with Pietro. If anybody else, obviously Pietro. But I think another big reveal coming is that the whole New Salem thing, like you mentioned. In the comics, her son, Nicholas Scratch, kind of turns New Salem against her, and there's a whole big thing. But it's basically a coven of witches. And you mentioned this in one of the other videos, that the garden party was basically a coven, and Dottie is the head of the coven, and Agatha is basically just the liaison for Wanda, and she's in charge of keeping Wanda in check and everything. And I think I don't think this is all Agatha's power. I think she's like, just like at the very end where she does her purple magic on Wanda's eyes, the same way that Wanda did Tony. I think she is controlling Wanda so that Wanda uses her magic. So it is Wanda's magic that Wanda is doing it, but under the control of Agatha and potentially these other witches in this coven who could potentially, or who we think is Dottie. Who do you think Dottie is?
Okay. For one, I think she's working for Doctor Strange, whoever she might be. I think this coven overall was a coven of probably good witches, and then Agatha came in, luring in Wanda somehow. And then just, like you said, using her magic and trapping everybody. So.
Interesting.
Yes.
So, I mean, like in the comics, like Agatha is kind of neutral, like she looks out for herself, but in this one, she looks like she's a big bad. Like she's definitely,
if not the big bad, definitely a medium bad.
Yeah. Do you think that she is under the influence of another big bad? Or do you think she's her true self?
I think if this is her true self, we still got 2 more episodes for her to like amp it up more. But if not, we do have another reveal down the line, which could possibly be the name that literally everybody and their mama has been throwing out there.
Yeah.
And Mephisto.
Yeah. So also
But there's
some
also
other ones that um that Dottie could be. She could be Clea or Clea. I think it's Clea from the
yeah,
comics, which is like Doctor Strange, his on again, off again girlfriend, love interest. Um, and she could be, like you said, spying for Doctor Strange because we know that this series leads into Doctor Strange 2. So this is on his radar. It's got to be on his radar, and we will most likely see him show up at some point in the series toward the end. I don't think he's the big reveal because I think that's kind of a given. I don't think he's the big cameo. Um, because it's obviously a given that she's in Doctor Strange too, and at some point he's got to come get her. Um, and let's see, another one she could be is Arcana or Moonglow. She kind of deals with like extra dimensional magic or something like that too. I'm not too familiar with the character. Do you know more about Arcana?
not too much about Arcana and Moonglow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you guys know more about those characters, hit us up in the comments. Let us know what you think. So we've got the other women in the coven. Potentially Herb. I don't necessarily think Herb is anymore because it showed her controlling him. So I think Herb, and plus Herb had a license on the wall, and some of these other women did too, but Dottie definitely did not. So Dottie is either a Doctor Strange plant or in league with Agatha in some way. But anyways, so that's who she could be working with, along with this fake Pietro, and we'll get into that in another video, who he could potentially be, because that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
But who could she be working for? And a lot of people want to believe that she's it. She's the big bad, like they showed us. But that book
says otherwise.
It's got some huge implications.
Yeah. That could be a number of things, but the number one thing that it is, we believe that it could be. I said we. I don't know, Dylan. You also believe that this book is the Darkhold?
Yes, I definitely think it's the Darkhold. I mean, it just So the implications of that is either that the big bad is either Mephisto or Chthon. And I'm leaning towards Chthon, even though Mephisto is like the devil. Maybe they're going to remix them because a lot of people are still saying Nightmare. But the reason I'm not leaning towards Nightmare is because originally Scott Derrickson, who directed the first Doctor Strange, was going to direct Doctor Strange 2. And he even announced at Comic-Con that Nightmare, like even before that, when he was doing Doctor Strange 1, they were asking, who is the big bad that you want to see? And he always doubled down on Nightmare, and that's where he was going with it. So that makes a lot of people think that this big bad is also Nightmare, but he bowed out of Doctor Strange due to creative differences. And if they tried to change up the bad guy and where it wasn't Nightmare, I could see that could upset him enough to leave, because that was like what he really wanted, and that was like where he was going with it. So if they decided, okay, well, we're going to do the same thing kind of, but we're going to use either Chthon or Mephisto instead, I could see him like, I'm not really down with that. And then they got Sam Raimi, who will direct Doctor Strange 2.
Oh, for real? I didn't know it was Sam Raimi. Okay, well, all right.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah. I am one of the people who will keep saying Nightmare until Nightmare is it's not Nightmare.
Yeah.
But
unless we get some kind of remix, I mean, because it's the MCU, in the comics there are so many different like versions of different characters and stuff, but with the MCU they might consolidate just to make it more simple and make it certain ones. Even though if you go to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that showed the Darkhold before, they had Ghost Rider, who is directly tied to Mephisto and got his powers from Mephisto, but dealt directly with the Darkhold. Yeah, who is more and the Darkhold is directly tied to Chthon.
Chthon.
who is, you want to tell who Chthon is?
Chthon, the god of chaos, who...
Yep. And who has chaos magic? Who was that again?
Well, it's the woman right over there who they're not calling Scarlet Witch just yet.
Oh, yeah.
But, yeah, and also, Agatha, her magic is also, it seems like in the show, is more designed to create chaos to keep Wanda off her game, which also makes me wonder, did she make that guy choke in the very first episode, or did he just start choking?
I don't know.
Oh,
all these different things. I mean, they say it was Agatha all along. So like all these things are happening to keep Wanda on her heels,
to keep her second guessing. But then that also, dang it, that just keeps making me wonder things. But yeah, it could be Chthon, which if it is Chthon, Agatha's just been priming Wanda for his resurrection. And like you'd said earlier, before the video, I saw cicadas. I only saw one, but you saw way more than I did.
Yeah. The cicada on the there wasn't a fly, it wasn't a locust, it wasn't a moth. Like some people are saying, it didn't even look like a moth or a fly. It was definitely a cicada. Like I go look up a cicada. It's a cicada. Like it's obvious. But they represent resurrection, new life. I mean, they hide in the ground, or don't hide in the ground, but they hibernate in the ground for 17 years or something like that, and then they come out and wreak havoc, which is a lot why they're kind of associated with locusts, but they're not really the same. Locusts swarm, cicadas don't. I did a little research, but anyways, another reference to resurrection, where that seems to be the push, that seems to be the agenda of Agatha right now, whereas before it was having babies, now it's resurrection, and it's been that way since the death of Sparky, at least. And with Pietro and all this kind of stuff. But another thing that we kind of missed on Chthon was Chthon, when Wanda was born, he kind of nailed her as a potential body that he could possess and live in. Like she's supposed to be, like he's preparing her to be his surrogate or something like that. So that kind of ties into him resurrecting in Wanda's body. So that's a big thing. And that's why she has her magic source from him, not because she did anything herself, but that's that tie. And the Darkhold is so Chthon was also like one of the elder gods or something like that, wasn't
he? Yeah. And one of the elder gods, it's his book that he would give it to, his disciples and everything. Yeah. And they could use it to basically wreak havoc.
And there are other implications to do with that, because we've got Blade coming, and Chthon is also where vampires, werewolves, all those other type of magical beings come from in the Marvel universe. So that could very well be opening the door and leading into that as well. So another huge tie-in, if that's where they're going with Phase 4, where in Doctor Strange they've got to fight Chthon.
Turn into the Monsterverse.
Yeah, and isn't Chthon is like some kind of Lovecraftian being, isn't he?
Yeah, he kind of, like if you ever see any pictures of, if you ever see him in any of the comics, he kind of like has this humanoid body and like not like a whole Cthulhu squid head, but like he has a head, beak comes out, sharp teeth right here, and then a whole bunch of tentacles and stuff that make up his hair. And then just big old red glowing eyes. Wow, I just described like half Cthulhu. But yeah, he is.
Yeah, well, I guess the spelling kind of alludes to that too.
Yeah, we got that inspiration from being kind of a Lovecraftian monster.
Yeah.
But Marvel's version.
Yeah, and so a lot of people think, oh well, Marvel's not going to go that dark, but literally, like when she goes downstairs, like it turns into a horror movie. There's like Visqueen all over the place, like Dexter, and looks like there's
Yeah.
red splatters on this Visqueen, and she talks about like having bit a kid. Like, I mean, she's a witch. Maybe she ate kids, and another thing is
Yeah, she just she said, I've been
I
a
had to
kid
pause that because I was
once.
laughing so hard.
Like it didn't
So another
register.
thing is the mole on her back. That is another allusion to like the devil's mark, because we always say like it's a thing where witch hunters used to like drown women, and if they could swim or whatever, they were a witch or whatever. But
Mhm.
actually, one of the ways they did hunt them in history was through like birthmarks that were abnormal or something like that, which they called the devil's mark. So I mean, that's another allusion to her being a witch. And another thing is that her car has a Connecticut license plate, and even though we always say, okay, well, Salem is like the thing in Salem, Massachusetts, but the first person that was executed for being a witch happened in Connecticut. So that's a little Easter egg right there.
They were just throwing everything at us, saying, "Hey, here's a
I
red
mean,
flag."
yeah. I mean,
She's
what
going,
other
oh,
things do we need? So,
her wearing a witch's hat.
yeah. All right. So, Cathan, Mephisto, Nightmare. Are we going to get a mix? Are we going to get all of these or one of these? I guess we'll see.
I hope we don't. I don't want to miss a mix. That's all I don't want.
You don't want to mix? Why not?
I don't want to mix. Just give me pure one of the other.
Hmm. Okay. So, uh, maybe explore the implications of like what could one, if we get Mephisto,
Uh-huh.
like that kind of takes it. It depends like what direction they go or which bad guy we get, because it takes it in a whole different direction. Because yeah, we got Ghost Rider back in the MCU or in the Marvel universe. Like they can explore Ghost Rider, and he is directly tied to Mephisto. And there are other ones to go in that direction. But if they go Cathan, there's a whole different direction, which we know they're doing Blade too. So it's like, are we getting both? Are we getting one or the other? Or is there, are we're gonna do like in Agents of Shield where we get one and the other, and we just kind of like don't really,
Don't say none's the wiser
yeah.
to it. I mean, I almost would like to say I'd rather for her to be working for both, and she has to like somehow figure out a way, like borrowing money from somebody else to pay off your loan shark type of
Mhm.
thing. But if they end up like mixing them together, it's gonna have to lean one way or the other of which it's more like. Like, is it gonna be more Mephisto with a little bit of Cathan sprinkled in, or is it gonna be Cathan with a little Mephisto sprinkled in?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it kind of, I guess it kind of does matter unless they just gloss over the whole thing and just pretend that it's not a thing, which I mean, is very possible.
Very possible. But we'll see. But
Yeah.
they always tend to, the things that I really want, they tend to make me really mad and then make another TV show to appease me after they already did the bad thing, Baron Zemo. But yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
another little Easter egg. The with like draining Wanda's magic and all that kind of stuff, which also makes sense. Like Mephisto doesn't really need to drain her magic, but Cathan, that makes sense with draining her magic. Um, if you watch all of the previously on WandaVision, all those things in sequential order, uh, Wanda's voice gets less and less energetic over time. And the very first one, she's like previously on WandaVision, and this one is like previously on WandaVision. So somebody, I forget who caught that, but yeah, it was a pretty interesting little Easter egg. Just
interesting.
the attention to detail is I love it.
Crap, it's gonna be Cthulhu with a little Mephisto sprinkled in.
Snacking on her magic.
Whatever. Yeah.
So I just want to throw in my 2 cents about my theory is still up in the air. I don't think it has been. I don't think it's been busted yet. One of my theories. There was a couple of my theories that got busted this episode, but like the email and the email got answered, didn't really get busted. But did Monica have powers before that one's definitely busted. But the one where I think Hayward made a deal with the devil, and Agatha kind of intercepted Wanda on whichever devil he made the deal with to cover his butt. So because she was also working, trying to push Vision out and get him to go, because she got what she needed from him, and now she's just trying to get Wanda alone. So she's trying to get rid, and I think it was her that is putting all these little impediments in front of him and Darcy, and trying to keep him from getting home, not Wanda. So I think her and Hayward on some level are working together, because they seem to have, I don't think necessarily it's coincidence that their goals align. So I think there is the big bad that's kind of like working both of them here to get Vision's body back to Hayward, and to get Wanda to himself, or Agatha to get Wanda back to himself. So I think I think Agatha is only working. I don't think she is necessarily like completely evil. I think that she is fulfilling a contract, or fulfilling some sort of blackmail thing, where she is under contract with Cthulhu or Mephisto or whatever, because of, even though she keeps bragging about being married to Ralph, I think Ralph is Mephisto or Cthulhu. Speaking of, I'm sorry, before I go on, what were you going to say?
All right. I'll make it super fast. Okay. Hayward has Vision's body doing experiments, probably trying to replicate his body in some way, shape, or fashion. If they are working together, we all know, and they all know, that Vision's body used to house a very powerful power source, an Infinity Stone, so it can hold just about anything. She's trying to get Hayward's body back to him, or Vision's body back to Hayward, so he can finish doing what he was doing to either replicate it or prepare it for something else. She's trying to use Wanda to pretty much open a portal that she's not strong enough to open it with, so they can throw Cthulhu into Vision body. Now Cthulhu has vibranium body and can use as much magic as he feels like, because the body he's in can take it.
Interesting. And they did make that reference about tough skin, about the kids inheriting tough skin. They don't want us to forget the whole Ultron and his corporeal body thing. So there's definitely something to that about his that's important. But I think I was going to say something about, I still think Agatha at the end of all this is going to, whether it's at the end of this show or at the end of Doctor Strange 2, I think she's not going to be a bad guy necessarily. I think she's going to be like more kind of like with the Agatha of the comics, where she's just kind of, she does her own thing. And because in the comics, she becomes the nanny for the Fantastic Four. And that's a perfect tie-in, because there's a whole lot of Fantastic Four references in this show. Whole lot. They're definitely moving that direction. So not to mention that it was teased, that we can get into that later. Anyways, so casting for Cthulhu / Mephisto, I wanna say thanks to, oh, let me look it up real quick. Who was it? Vincent Solis commented on one of our videos this past week, saying that it had a very, very interesting take on who could play Mephisto and who this big cameo could be, because Paul Bettany had mentioned that he's wanted work with this actor his whole life. So it's somebody that's been around most likely. And after Guardians of the Galaxy, after Guardians of the Galaxy came out, Al Pacino mentioned that he had been in talks with Kevin Feige and that he wanted to work in the Marvel Universe. So they've been looking for the right, just like Keanu Reeves, they've been talking to him and looking for the right character for him to play. And we all know that he did play in Devil's Advocate as the devil. So him playing Mephisto could be a good fit. I mean, it would also be a kind of a cool fit to have Keanu Reeves play that, because that would be a nice little callback too. But that would be super cool. So I guess that ties into who the cameo. We're covering a lot of bases in this video. The cameo might be. So yeah. Is there anybody else you think, or anything else
for the cameo?
Yeah, or anything else?
I'll make it. No. It's too far of a reach.
Too far of a reach.
Too far of a reach, and I.
Well, now you have to say it.
Okay. Well, geez. Well, it's the thing I said I wouldn't say earlier, but now I guess I'm saying it. If Agatha, I keep saying Agnes. Agatha is the biggest bad of the baddest big for this show. And then she does end up like summoning a little army or whatever. And then Wanda gets like full control back of everything. And then she just whips into reality the former Avengers, and then have them all fight alongside her and Vision. And when I say former Avengers, I mean like Iron Man, Captain America, Hulk, Thor, Black Widow.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think she can create. I'm going to let you finish. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, it's fine. That's it. And Hawkeye. And then he said, I don't know. I think she can create.
Yeah, I don't think she can create yet things out of nothing. I think she's. I think the Darkhold and Agatha are kind of boosting her to be able to create all this stuff, because like I said, I don't think she realizes how powerful she is yet.
Well, when she does, she will have a good chunk of change of power to dispense.
She's figuring it out pretty quick.
Yeah. Scary quick.
And when Doctor Strange shows up, he's going to tutor her and show her all kinds of crap.
It's going to go from a hard 8, where the crazy has been for the whole season, to a solid 15, I'm sure.
For sure. I mean, we've just now started to touch on the multiverse thing, and the whole title of Doctor Strange is Multiverse of Madness.
Yep.
So, yeah. All right. Anything else before we close out?
That's it for me.
All right. So just a quick mention, if you guys are interested in potentially sponsoring Broken Pictures, or this show where we talk about WandaVision, or other shows where we talk about The Walking Dead or whatever, let us know. You can either just support just a couple bucks a month, go on to Patreon, or you can potentially say, hey, you know what? I want to make sure that you guys have good internet so you can keep doing shows, or I want to make sure that you guys, the program you're using, that we can go live and have all kinds of special effects and cool stuff, or that we get paid or whatever. Because we get paid. We're doing this for fun because we love you. And we talk too much. But anyways, if you are interested in being like a show sponsor, we can talk out the details or whatever. Just let us know. Or if you just like to throw a couple bucks a month, there's also the opportunity for that. Check out the scrolling thing at the bottom, not scrolls, but scroll at the bottom of the screen there, and you can see where you can go to check out the Patreon. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you know when we drop a new video. And that's another way you can support us. Just hit the like and possibly subscribe. That is, if you don't have money or whatever, that is a huge deal. We really appreciate it. That pushes us out into the YouTube verse so other people can see us, and maybe they can have money. Who knows? Anyways, it's not all about money. We do this for fun. We've been doing this for years. Anyways, appreciate it.
Really.
And thanks for watching once again. This is Dylan.
I am Quinn.
And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye. Why not do peace?